Today on the Button Up Podcast, we have Justin Trewitt from Dapper Woodworks. How are you doing, Justin?
I'm doing good. How are y'all doing?
Pretty great. I hear that y'all coming from Dallas, Texas.
Yep, Dallas, Texas.
In the workshop. So I'm excited to learn a little bit about how all the concept of Dapper Woodworks and stuff. But, where'd you start out? Have you always been in Dallas?
Yeah, so basically grew up in Plano, which is just a suburb outside of Dallas. Grew up there my whole life. Actually, I'm the 5th generation born in Dallas, so we've been here for a while. But grew up in Plano. My wife and I, we now live out in Saxony, Texas, which is another suburb of Dallas. So I enjoy it here. We like it.
The People's Republic.
Yeah.
Plano is J.C. Penney country to me.
It is, yeah. And Dr. Pepper country.
And, I didn't know Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
23 flavors. So where did you go to school also in Dallas?
Went through middle school, went to public school, and then went to a private school from 9th to 12th grade. And then went to college up in Arkansas, up at Ouachita Baptist University. And that's where I met my wife, and then ended up moving back here and been there ever since. So.
And that's where you got your first job?
I did an internship doing life insurance, and then now I've been working for my dad's company. We've got a financial planning firm here in Plano, so I've been here for 5 years now. So that's where I am currently in my office.
I see. And have you always worked with your hands? Like, were you into art classes in school?
Not really. I grew up just building Legos and stuff, but never really had much of an interest outside of that until we bought our house about 4 years ago. We didn't have much furniture, and so I decided I'm just going to learn how to make it. So checked out there's a bunch of bloggers and different DIY maker people that have all sorts of plans for furniture, and that's how I just started learning how to build stuff, bought a few tools, and then that's ultimately what got me into woodworking. So
interesting.
Yeah.
And the whole time, did you like dress up at certain points, or did you have a personal style that you defined as? What was your relationship with style during that time?
Yeah, so I got into menswear and style in college, probably about my sophomore and junior year. Going through business school, I was like, I just want to learn how to start dressing better. So read just a ton of different blogs like Dapper and like articles, style, and just all the guys that have been doing it since then, and really started getting into dressing well but on a budget. And then since I've graduated, it's been over 5 years now, but I'm usually in a sport coat and trousers every day. So I enjoy dressing up. I enjoy reading about menswear and learning, and so it's just always kind of been my other big passion. So, yeah.
And your collection was expanding as you were reading about style. And
yeah, my pocket square collection kept expanding, and that's how I ended up kind of starting my brand. So
yeah. So what was your first prototype?
So I guess first of all, I first got started. I had built myself a pocket square organizer, just a piece of wood and a wooden dowel, and made it for my closet because I was like, there's no good ways to store pocket squares. You either have them in a box or in your drawer somewhere, and no good way to just see them all right there in front of you. And so I made this item, and I'm like, maybe people would like something like this. I don't know. So I put it up on Etsy. I just started an Etsy store, and then kind of from there is where things have gone. I said, what else do we go with? Pocket square racks. So I started making some tie racks out of some scrap wood I had laying around the garage, and some people started asking about those and starting to ask for custom orders. And this was all about November 2017. And part of the reason I started too was we just had our first child about a year before that, and my wife stopped working in August. So I was like, I wonder if there's a way that I can mix this passion of menswear and woodworking to make a little extra income, and it's turned into what it is today. So,
I mean, at that point, like Etsy was already huge, and I'm sure there were some menswear brands on Etsy, or maybe even some similar products. Did you see anything out there that you were like, oh, I could do this better?
There were a few other just tie racks and stuff that were out there, but nothing that really looked good. All my products I make out of hardwoods, and most of the people that were on there were making them out of just cheap pine or stuff they pick up at Home Depot and just like staining in a color, and it looked fine. But I wanted something that actually could reflect the quality of the ties that are being stored on it. So, yeah, just kind of started refining my designs from there.
Well, where'd you learn at first? Were you just like YouTube tutorials and stuff?
No, because it's just funny because there's nothing else out there. So I picked up most of my skills just from building furniture for our house. So I had, I read a bunch of blogs, I did a bunch of plans or read a bunch of plans. So I'd made some like an entertainment center, like some tables for our bedroom, and like my son's changing table, and just a bunch of random things around the house. So I had pretty much all the skills I needed just to get started, and I just kind of came up with a simple design, and just using those first pieces of scrap wood that I got for free, and then just put them up on the site, and somebody ordered one. I was like, oh, somebody actually ordered something. That's weird. So.
How did people find the site? Or was it like friends and family, word of mouth, or were you like doing any marketing or what?
This was so it was just all on Etsy at first. First sale was like the beginning of November, and I had about 10 sales just in November, December for different Christmas gift items. Most of them were just from random people that found one of my products on Etsy and was like, hey, can you do this but with more pegs or a different wood or a different hardware? And so from there, that's really where I really started building out the custom options that I can do, because people really like that kind of custom aspect of it. So, yeah,
it's cool to be able to choose like the type of wood and metal like that kind of matches your space.
Yeah, and I mean, because I've always enjoyed like custom suits. I've been out of that world for a while, just having a kid, a family now, but just being able to choose the different options, when it comes to suit, like your fabric and buttons and all that, is just, I think people really enjoy just customizing things. It's kind of one of a kind. So.
I feel like also from your perspective, like there are a few things more satisfying than making something yourself, and then especially using it. Like I work on a desk that I built myself every day, and it's like there's something so satisfying about working on something and physically holding it, which like especially with white collar jobs where you're working computers all day, like you never really get that.
Yeah, and that's what's really fun, because this is something I'm really passionate about, and in my day job I do customer service and financial planning, and so not that I don't get to use different skills in that, but I've really gotten to learn and develop a bunch of other skills, from building a brand to taking photos, like building a website, social media, just all these things that I've never really gotten to exercise before that. So
at what point did you start using the Dapper Woodworks name and the logo?
Name pretty much came up from the beginning. I was like, what is kind of woodworking and menswear? And I had made it my Etsy store name, and kind of in plans to go back and change it to something better, but it just kind of stuck. I was like, no, actually it works pretty good. So I had made just a simple logo on a logo maker, and then ended up having my friend redo it to the one it is currently a few months after. So yeah.
So you've been at this officially for like a year and a half about?
Yeah, it's been about a year and a half. And so kind of how it's grown. It's progressed from an Etsy store. So started just the first 2 months of 2017. It was just on Etsy, and I ended up meeting another guy that was kind of in the men's. He was a leather worker, a local guy. He was on Style Forum and a few other places, but he was local, and he reached out to me. I was like, hey, let's grab coffee. So we went and grabbed coffee, and he was like, you need to meet Kirby Allison from the Hanger Project. I was like, he's on my list. I definitely do, because I knew he was local too. And then later that day, he texted me. He said, oh, I just had lunch with Kirby. He wants to meet you. It's like, oh, okay. So ended up getting connected with Kirby, and so he had been wanting some different tie racks and stuff to offer other than the ones he had in the store. And so he wanted me to come up with a few designs. This was in like December, and I ended up getting all those done by January. So he's like, yeah, what else can you do? And even I think at that point I'd made like 3 orders, so I hadn't even like hardly done any. So I just wanted to, so I kind of went back to the drawing board and had like specific sizes and designs, and then anything custom I can just kind of work off those patterns that I have. So yeah.
How are you handling the sort of like scaling up now that you're getting more popular, and you still have a full-time job and a young child? So how do you handle all that?
Luckily it's been fairly manageable. I mean, within the first year it was maybe 5, 10, maybe a few more orders every month. So it's not huge by any means, but as I've been getting more retailers, it's been getting more busy, but I've really just nailed down my entire process. So so I basically just try and batch things out all the time. So I'm working on like 6 or 7 currently, and I just try and get all the process done. So I'll do this process on that, move on to the next step, and just kind of batch them out. So I've gotten a lot faster as I've been going, ultimately get better at it, and then yeah.
I think too, I mean, if people don't check out your Instagram, I think you definitely should, because like you also show your experimentation with different finishes, or you'll highlight the different woods you get. And I think it's really cool just to see the process of, here's how you work through the process. And I think from mine, you even like tagged me as you were making mine. So it's like, it's just cool to see that from a process standpoint.
Yeah. So I like, so I try and use kind of Instagram stories as showing the different process and behind the scenes. And then I'll show a few different process shots in my main feed. But I try and just show every single one that I make. I try and take pictures or document each one that I make. So if somebody wants to see one in the future, and I can just send them a picture of it. But yeah, anybody that I interact through Instagram that ends up ordering something, I'll try and tag them in a few pictures. And if it's somebody that's got a bigger account, sometimes they'll repost it and show people this product that they've never seen before. So
how is the community, like you mentioned, Kirby and some of those other guys who are, in a similar market selling similar stuff? Is it like a very small world? Is everybody friendly with each other? Is it competitive?
As far as I've seen, it's friendly. I mean, currently at the moment, no one is offering anything like my products. As far as I know, I'm the only one making custom or nice tie racks. So I've been able to connect with lots of different tie makers or other people kind of in this luxury menswear accessory space, and either people are ordering them for their own personal retail stores, but I mean, no one's trying to go and get these manufactured or something somewhere else. But overall, the community's super nice, and everyone that I've talked to has been helpful, and I've learned a lot from other business owners. There's lots of other people doing their thing as a side hustle too. So being able to learn and just shoot ideas back and forth with them has been pretty cool. So
nice. Do you sell at local markets too, like shows?
Ooh, I've done a few things, and they don't go the best. It could be just the events that I've done, but really, yeah. From the beginning, I'm like, I don't know if craft shows or things like that are the perfect fit, just since I'm offering kind of a high-end product, and it's in a very specialty category with ties and accessories that not everyone cares about or even hardly even wears anymore. So done 2 different pop-up events. They've been all right, but it's not what I focus on. I ended up, I did one earlier this year at the Canali store, as in like the luxury Italian menswear brand. They were doing a made-to-measure event, and one of their store associates was like, "Hey, you should come out and show off some of your products." And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds perfect." And
was that your New York trip?
No, that was different. So this was a few months ago, but I can get back to New York trip in a bit. But basically that store, there were hardly anybody that came through that day. I was like, oh, well, now I know. And but they still made like $20,000 selling like 5 suits. So But it was a good experience, and I kind of learned from that. And so I am pretty picky about different events. I'm trying to find more, or just work with other menswear stores to do kind of trunk shows or something. I think that's more, but other than not that super high end like specialty thing where there's 10 people that come through the store in a day, like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. What do you think about the sort of, I don't know, increasing casualness of the workplace? And, you know, obviously you're selling mostly like tie racks and pocket square organization. And in general, it seems like men are dressing up less. So do you have like plans to offer like different sorts of products that serve the more casual guy?
Yeah, still figuring other items. I mean, business has only picked up, so just as I'm getting my name out there, so I'm not really worried about the casualization of menswear. I mean, personally, I don't even wear ties, so but I do wear pocket squares every day. So, but still, people still have ties, and they like a nice way to display them. So yeah, at the current moment, my lineup of products is just the tie racks and the pocket square organizers, and then the single coat hooks that each of y'all have, and then these shoe horns that I get made as well. And it's kind of my lineup currently. Everything I can do in different woods, hardware finishes, and sizes. But as far as other products, I'm still kind of thinking. I'm trying to like stay within kind of things that could be related to menswear without making just random woodworking things like everyone else is, like cutting boards or other just random items that are cool but not really in my niche.
Look, you could have a whole sub business just making 100+ shoe racks for influencers.
Yeah,
I know the men just talked to you about that too.
Yeah, he
we're a specialty market.
Yeah.
You could have a 6-figure business just doing closet organization for Raphael Schwen-Snyder.
I know. But yeah, I've tried to figure out other things, whether it's doing different custom. I've been doing a few. I've done some different made-to-order belt racks with some other hardware I have, and I want to eventually develop like some wooden valet trays, just other kind of just simple, nice looking, even maybe some like desk accessories. Just simple, classy looking items. So, yeah.
What's really interesting too is not only are you making physical products in your workshop, but you're also shipping big things. Like, how have you navigated the logistics of not just like, I think right now you don't have huge orders sitting there waiting to be shipped, but also like packaging this stuff up and shipping it out.
Yeah. So yeah, from the start, I've been packing and shipping everything myself, and that's been just a learning process. It's nice to have a Shopify account that, I'd moved to everything to my Shopify website back in after 3 months of doing it. I got off Etsy and I've been using my store for that. But yeah, shipping things. I wasn't first buying like boxes by the 25 pack, and then I actually found a place that's on my way to work that sells boxes for like $1, $2, and you can buy 1 or 2 in every single size you could possibly imagine. So that is so convenient because it's opened my doors to be able to do way more different custom sizes. That way I don't have to go order custom boxes somewhere or something. And yeah, but I've been able to ship ones up to, the biggest one I've made so far was 52 inches long. So I shipped like this 60-inch long box. So that was a fun one.
Yeah, you got to compete with Amazon. People want free shipping.
Yeah, so I've been trying to any of the regular tie rack and pocket square organizers, I've been trying to make those all as free shipping. But yeah, still trying to. I was charging shipping at one point, but trying to do free shipping, just testing out what people like the best.
So over the past 2 years, with all that you've learned, do you have any advice for like new creators who want to sell like physical goods that they're making online?
Yeah, I'd say just get the idea out there, whether it's just stating the idea with some friends or putting it out on something easy like an Etsy store. It depends on what your kind of market is, as Etsy wasn't the best market for my products, but it at least was able to get out there and get some feedback from other people. But if you have an idea, just like this was basically started for less than $50. It was like some scrap wood and some hardware that I bought, and so it doesn't take like huge investment just to get something started. I would just say, just go for it. I mean, that's a pretty basic answer, but just with the resources available now, like anybody can get anything out to anybody. Like it's crazy now that I've been able to ship things like internationally to like Sweden and England and France. It's like, this doesn't make sense, but it's
so
really
cool.
cool.
Do you have some favorite like blogs or podcasts or resources that you've used either for Shopify or any of that kind of back end stuff that you've used?
As far as resources, just with like reading stuff about website development, the Shopify blog is really good. They have a ton of resources, especially if you're using the Shopify platform. But I am also an avid podcast listener. So that's how I found out about y'all. But I listen to a lot of different menswear or woodworking or like side hustle podcasts. The one that actually kind of got me thinking about doing this as a business, it was a podcast called Side Hustle School, and it's a daily podcast. The host, Chris Gillibo, he records, it's like a 10-12 minute daily podcast you can just listen to on the way to work, and every day is a different story of somebody who started a side hustle, and sometimes they're still doing it as a side business, or it's been something that's turned into a full-time gig. And so it's really cool to just hear those stories of different other ideas that people have thought of, and that's what really got me thinking about doing this. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's great advice. We have a series of rapid fire questions that you haven't been able to prepare for that we'd like to run you through right now with like 1 or 2 word answers. Are you down?
I'm down.
All right, cool. Here we go. Oxfords or brogues?
Brogues.
Lifting or cardio?
I don't do much working out, but I guess cardio.
Using the press on your in your shop.
Any tool operations, yeah.
Nice. Loafers or sneakers?
I like loafers, but most of the time at night I'm in sneakers. So,
for as far as style goes, spring, summer, or fall, winter?
Fall, winter.
Morning shower or evening shower?
Evening if I've been in the shop. Morning otherwise.
Yes. Jeans, chinos, or trousers?
I'm usually a jeans guy. During the day, trousers, but jeans, yeah.
Okay. Favorite James Bond actor, if you have one?
I'd say probably Daniel Craig, just since those are the most recent ones that I've seen.
Nice. For your jackets and suits, notch lapels or peak lapels?
Notch lapels.
Notch lapels. And then same for your suits and jackets. If you could only choose one, navy or charcoal?
Ooh, navy. Yeah.
Navy. Okay. And then last question: if you're trying to get pumped up for the day, what song are you listening to in the shower?
That's the funny thing is I really don't listen to much music anymore. Mostly
maybe a podcast.
Yeah. Side Hustle School is a good one.
Yeah.
Gets
No,
you motivated.
I do the same thing. I listen to like business podcasts in the morning so I can get all like fired up for the day,
Yeah, I listen to so many.
Cool. Well, yeah, good job on the rapid fire. And before we wrap up, is there anything like in the next, say, like 6 months that you're really excited about with your business?
Yeah. So this year I've been really trying to focus on the wholesale side of my business, so getting into retailers. And so, back in January, like John, I mentioned, I got to go to a trade show and exhibit my products there and just meet a ton of people and brands and stores. So, trying to just get into more retail stores. It's kind of hard to find individual customers, even though I still get those kind of orders. But, just working with more retailers, trying to just connect with other menswear brands as well, and making displays and I've got a few things that they haven't fully developed yet, but there's some exciting things in progress. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Hey man, well I'm really enjoying the code hook. I use it every day. It's right over here in the studio, and I promise that it will show up in a studio tour one of these days.
Well, I was in your video the other day. I was like, oh, front and center right there. I was excited, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm using that wall now for some of my like try-on stuff, so it'll get plenty of airtime. So, yeah, we'll have to check back in like 6 months and see how you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Buttoned Up Podcast, a collaboration between John Shanahan of The Cavalier and Brock McGough of Modest Man, and we will see you next week.